The story is based on a character named Billy, and the one way to describe him is a drunk, because, I mean, that's what he did every night. He always got drunk, and that's how he died. They found him unconscious on the street. Um, yeah.
Um, and he was like a World War II veteran, so that's probably why he drank a lot.
Yeah, there's stuff from the war, and then he been at first he was a really nice guy, and everyone liked him. Um, he was funny. He always had a good time, like life of the party, and everyone still did like him after his drinking problem. Almost even more because they had to care for him because he'd always be drunk and he'd always have to call them and you know for help at night because he couldn't get home.
Yeah, and he always kind of rejected their, like, when they tried to help him, he just didn't fully accept it, and so he just pushed away everyone who really loved him, and
Even his wife, who was like completely supportive of him and there for him, he it was almost as if he wasn't 100% in the relationship. It was like a one-sided relationship where she was all for him, like she loved him, and then he was just kind of halfway there. But
yeah, and he was only halfway there because he never fully got over Eva, who was his first love.
Eva. Right. Well, Eva was this Irish girl who came down to Long Island for a summer, and her and Billy fell in love. So we thought. I mean, we knew that Billy was completely in love with her, and he never got over her.
And she loved him too, but then she went back to Ireland at the end of the summer, and Billy was determined to bring her back, and so he sent her all this money so that her and her family could return and they could be together forever. But she met one of her hometown Irish boys and like married him using the money that Billy had been sending.
But the entire time, Billy thought she was dead until he went on a little excursion to Ireland to stop drinking and take an oath to be sober, but that didn't work. But Dennis, he found out from Eva's sister that she was still alive, and he actually didn't he meet up with Eva? I think he did. Yeah, I think he met up with Eva, and she had like 4 kids, and she was just living a normal life while Billy was drunk and still obsessing over her. So yeah, she was kind of skis almost. I don't know.
No.
She took all his money and used it, and eventually Dennis did tell Billy, but it didn't even hurt their friendship.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now Maeve is Billy's wife, who he did marry, who he was not really in love with. He described her as like really simple, but she was really pretty because of the simplicity of her. She loved him and she was really supportive of him. Okay. So, one of the really important characters who was present throughout the entire book was Dennis, who was Billy's cousin. And Dennis seemed to be like really wise, and I think he was probably the same age, but they both went to war together and they were really close. And yeah, he was basically just telling about Billy's life, or he was telling his daughter about Billy's life.
And Dennis ended up marrying Maeve, who was Billy's wife after Billy died.
Yeah, the narrator was Dennis's daughter, and she was basically telling us of what her father told her on that day of Billy's funeral. Dennis was a lot wiser than him. Billy often called Dennis for help, and Dennis was the one that would always go down with him to Long Island so Billy could go check on the house that he'd been working on when Eva was there. And that was the house that they were apparently going to live in or whatever. So, yeah, Dennis was really supportive of Billy. He was always there. So he was always there for Billy. He was almost like a father figure because he was one that would have to take charge and be like, Billy, you can't do this, you can't do that. So he was more mature than Billy.
Yeah, and he always wanted the best for Billy. That was obvious when he decided to lie to Billy and tell Billy that Eva died, instead, because he didn't think Billy could handle the truth of knowing that Eva had left Billy for another man. And yeah,
He knew all of the secrets behind the story, like the Eva thing, and I don't know, just little things about Billy. Certain nights, Maeve the whole time was comforting her, and he went over to her house a bunch to like bring her different things, because that's what people do when their loved ones die.
It was really obvious that Dennis had Billy's back, because when he found out about Eva, he said that she was already dead to him, even though she wasn't actually dead. She was already alive. So, yeah. This is our reflections, our thoughts on the book, Charming Billy. And I thought, I liked the book. I thought it was really powerful. I thought the major themes were nice. Like, just family and stories. And one thing of the book said, like, the stories we tell in life are more important than the things we do. And it's all like at the funeral, and they get together and tell stories of Billy. Remembrance.
Yeah, I really liked the book too. I thought it was like, like don't linger on the past, because Billy was lingering on Eva for so long, and I think that was part of his drinking problem, and it also didn't allow him to fully commit to Maeve. And then I thought that Dennis was a really good character, because how supportive he was of Billy, how he was always there for Billy. He really took him up, like, he took care of him. And no matter what situation Billy was in, Dennis always wanted to bring him out. I really just liked the plot of the story too. It was good, and it was really appropriate for our age, I think, because it was saying, like, like, don't get influenced by all that. It can ruin your life, because Billy ended up dying because he became an alcoholic. And I just thought that Alex McDermott really explained the theme, or really explained like what was going on very well. She used a lot of good details, and yeah, I really liked the book. I thought it was a good read. It was an easy read, and it was really easy to follow along. Like I said kind of before, was Dennis. I just really liked him. I felt like he was a good friend. He was a good father. He truly cared about Billy, and also Maeve, because he went over to Maeve's house a bunch after the funeral to bring her food and to comfort her, make sure she was okay. He knew what was best for everyone. I thought he was really wise.
My favorite character was Billy, who I thought was like a tragic hero, because he had like a character flaw, and that was what ended up bringing him down in life, led to his demise. And he was just like, even through all the horrible things that happened in his life, he was just a nice guy, and everybody loved him still.
Goodbye, Mr. Kent.